In 2007, a recently launched probe to Mars transmitted a photograph of a barren plateau from the planet. Eagle-eyed viewers immediately spotted a strange anomaly. A clearly out-of-place human-like form was nestled among the plains. But how could it even be there on a supposedly long-dead planet? While some said this figure was proof of life on Mars, others went so far as to say that this mysterious anthropomorphic figure bore a remarkable resemblance to a certain creature in a now infamous piece of footage. The Mars Rover mission was launched by NASA in 2003. Over the course of June and July of that year, 2 separate rockets left the atmosphere. Their destination, the Red Planet. The payload of each vessel consisted of specially made Martian rover. Spirit was launched on July 10th, with Opportunity following less than a month later on July 8th. Both missions made it safely to Mars and touched down on different regions of the planet in January 2004. Their objective was to explore and photograph the Martian surface while searching for clues to past water activity. They would also determine what geologic processes have shaped the Martian terrain and assess whether or not the environment had ever been conducive to life at any point. The missions were a huge success, and regardless of a few technical hiccups, both rovers made major discoveries over the course of the following years, such as the revelation that the Opportunity landing site used to be the shoreline of a long evaporated sea. The developments and discoveries kept coming, and despite the occasional glitch, the rovers went into an almost routine state of operation and performed their tasks diligently. Each rover possessed 2 sets of cameras, the PanCam, which is a panoramic imaging system, and the NavCam, which was primarily used for navigation purposes. In 2007, after several months near the base of a plateau known as Home Plate, the Spirit Rover climbed onto the eastern edge where it examined rocks and soils on the southern half of Home Plate in September and October before rolling up to the western edge that November. It was there that it would use its PanCam camera to take an image that would become famous, but not for the reasons NASA would have preferred. The image had been captured atop the low plateau where Spirit spent the closing months of 2007 and covered a seam spanning left from the southwest to the northeast on the right. The western edge of Home Plate was in the foreground of the panorama, and a bump on the horizon was Grissom Hill. At the right was Husband Hill, which was about half a mile away. This large-scale photograph was actually a mosaic that was composed of all the individual images from the region, which were assembled together to create one massive all-encompassing view. The resulting high-resolution panorama would then be transmitted to NASA. After publishing the panorama on their official website, the photograph garnered more publicity than usual when eagle-eyed viewers suddenly spotted a strange anomaly located in the far left of the enormous image. Most agreed that the shape was simply too humanoid in design to be just a random form created by nature, or a coincidental trick of Martian light and shadow. It was distinctly anthropomorphic in form and resembled a human configuration in a standing position with its right arm raised. While some argued this was clearly a person-type entity and showed there was life on Mars, others insisted the figure was very large and bore an uncanny resemblance to the alleged Bigfoot known as Patty in the Patterson-Gimlin footage taken at Bluff Creek in Northern California in 1967. But if this was true, what was the implication? That there were Bigfoot on Mars? The pro-Bigfooters' hopes were later dashed, though, when the Spirit Rover's other camera, the NavCam, was checked by NASA mission specialists. The alleged being seemed to occupy the same spot and location in many photographs taken over the course of several Martian days, meaning whatever the anomaly was, it never actually moved. It was locked to its location day and night. Some surmise that perhaps it was a statue, the only existing prehistoric remnant of a long extinct civilization. But when its dimensions were later calculated, the object was estimated to be only mere inches in height. Rather than being hundreds of meters from the Spirit Rover, as previously thought, it was discovered to be maybe 15 feet away. So even in the unlikely event that it was a statue, it was a rather small one. With no conclusive evidence forthcoming as to what it really was, the debate continued to rage, and still rages to this day. So if the object isn't an actual living being, a Bigfoot-type cryptid, or a statue, the question still remains. What exactly could it be? Why is it shaped so precisely like that? Is there more going on Mars than we're aware of? While there have been unexplained anomalies showing up in photos from Mars for many years, the solution to this one is there, if you look hard enough. Check the surrounding area very carefully. You can see it is coarse and rocky. In all probability, the enigmatic object is just the accidental byproduct of erosion. It's the result of rock splitting and cracking at strategic points due to the Martian sand-filled winds and the strains of other natural forces pummeling the landscape. The resulting human-like form derives from a precise, if accidental, combination of light and shadow. If this all sounds highly unlikely, consider the various examples of weathered rock in the vicinity. They all show similar signs of wear and tear and are affected by the Martian daylight in a similar way, showing comparable signs of erosion and weathering. If we move in closer to take a detailed look at the anomaly itself, we can just about make out a faint line extending backwards to the right from its alleged head. It's hard to see, but it's there. This seems to be the top of the rock and it slopes downwards. We can also see a similar and even more blatant example of this at its arm. The same type of line extends backwards towards the right-hand side. The resulting irregular surface adds an even more three-dimensional aspect to the arm and makes it even more obvious here. We can even see the area underneath the arm is smoother than that above it, and this also extends outwards to the right. When double-checked, the result is even more obvious. This would indicate it really is a piece of rock protruding from the landscape that tapers off to the right as opposed to a mystery lifeform. The human-looking contours are actually where the rock has been sliced and diced by natural forces through the eons. It is this tendency towards pareidolia, the ability to see random and often human shapes in the natural scheme of things, that makes this evidently anthropomorphic form stand out, even though, when all things are considered, it's probably just a sliced piece of weathered rock. What do you think? Is the enigmatic form a living being, a statue, or a shape carved in the rock by natural Martian forces? Make your suggestions in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and remember to tap the bell icon so you never miss an upload.